How's it going, Critter Family? Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over 3 videos in one. We are going over the show Dogs Behaving Very Badly. I'm not sure what channel it's on, or if it's just a YouTube thing. I figured it would be a channel. It's like Victoria Stilwell's It's Me or the Dog, kind of show, where they have a network, that picks up a dog trainer. In this case, he's not a dog trainer at all. He is a fraud, and he's just claiming to be a dog trainer, and he apparently has had real dog trainers on to teach him how to train dogs before the show is filmed, and a lot of them didn't agree with the methods that he was going to use, so a lot of them didn't agree to that, or didn't agree to work with him. But anyway, this video is going to get claimed no matter what, so I'm not going to bother with the whole, fair use and all that nonsense, so we're just going to get into it. This first one is Out of Control Labradors Put Their Owner in Real Danger. So I'm just going to go over a couple of clips in each video. This one is just going to be showing how hard these guys pull and how crazy they are and what I would do differently.
Knowing Alana's frightened of getting injured, Graham's got it covered.
Okay, so if I click that on like that, you see, then as we're walking, if need be, I can put the lock in.
Okay.
So this is something very dangerous that I do not agree with. That of all leashes to put on a dog, why, especially a dog that pulls very, very hard, why would you put a retractable leash on a dog? You're not going to have hardly any control. He's not going to have any more control than the owner does with her regular 6-foot nylon leash. A retractable leash, especially one that small, is just not a good idea to put on the dog. It's just something extra that you can cause that much more danger that you could put the dog in, where if she loses the lead and you lose the lead because you don't have any control, it's going to hurt your hand to hold on to that handle of that plastic little contraption. If it doesn't break already, then it'll be chasing the dog will be running forever, or it can seriously injure the dog or injure you, or it can get tangled up in something somewhere. So of all things, I would put a regular leash on this dog. What I would do is, although I have every dog in harnesses, if I have a dog that pulls really hard, I might use a front clip harness. I might use with these dogs, because they're so out of control, I would walk them one at a time, and I might end up using a head halter. That's as a last resort, until I can teach the dogs in the garden, in the home, in the yard. They're in the UK, so I say garden because a lot of them that's what they call their backyards, I suppose, or they all have gardens. Forgive me for my ignorance. But I would have them, and I would start working with them in loose leash, very, very short segments at a time. Short sessions at a time. And I'd be walking each dog one by one. So you're going to have the same amount of time it would take to walk both dogs, but it would be one at a time, one after the other, and it would be, a lot shorter distance.
Walking, if need be, I can put the lock in.
Okay.
And I've got you.
I do feel really anxious about it, but I understand that.
So here they're already pulling. We're not going outside this gate until we are walking on a loose leash. With these guys, I would have them on a front clip harness until they learn to give into pressure lightly, and then we can switch them to a back clip harness. But the way these guys pull already, I would be walking back and forth from the front door to here, and I would be, making my way, not downtown, but I'd be making a path into the green, the grass right here, just by walking back and forth, to teach them that, hey, as soon as I step forward and you start pulling, I'm stopping walking. I stop walking, and good girl, Allie. I stop walking and I apply a little bit of pressure onto you. I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like when I walked my Shiba. So here I have Adonis.
I don't want him to eat this grass.
I'm going to show you how soft he is on leash. I use a little bit of pressure, fingers worth of pressure. The first time he came on his own,
That wasn't because of the leash.
but he has a draw to this grass here. I'm going to use fingers. I'm going to apply straight, gentle pressure. He moves into that pressure, and I release that pressure. Pressure and release. I hold again, take him off balance. So the goal is, if he's standing in front of me, I'm going to move the leash to the right or the left of his body to get him off balanced. I want him to, when he's off balance, it's easier to get him to take a step in my direction, teaching him to give into pressure. So if he gives into this much versus this much, that's the goal. That's what I'm trying to teach him.
But he gets itchy from it. I don't want him eating that. So this is just
And up here,
to demonstrate the pressure.
I show you again.
Good boy.
Oops.
Oh, yes. I'm going to move him to the side. Now we'll just
So if we're
stop
walking
forward.
and I stop, he stops.
Tight.
And he used to pull as hard as those labs, even though he's a fraction of the size, or half the
Move
size.
him to the side.
I moved to the side to get a little bit more
Pressure, stop,
leverage
loosen.
and get him off balance. Not really so much leverage as it is just getting him off balance. That's why I moved to the side. You can say you have a little bit more leverage because he's at an angle, but I'm trying to get him to fall off balance so that way he wants to catch himself and he learns, oh, when I move into the pressure, it goes away. And I would do that over and over again. And you can walk those Labradors in a harness if you want to teach them that. But I would start probably, because they pull so hard, I would start in a front clip harness to get that much more leverage over them, just to teach them to give into, because they seem to ignore pressure by pulling. They seem to ignore it. So opposition reflex makes them want to pull. When they feel you pulling, they want to pull. I'm trying to teach them to go against that instinct and give into pressure. So here we're going to see it one more time.
Or be reactive.
There's a dog over there.
Step.
Apply a finger's worth of pressure.
Good boy.
It's going to take those labs a lot more than a finger's worth of pressure, but you can teach them by using the pressure release game that, you can do what I do, or you can use the pressure release game that Kiko Pup has on her channel.
The behaviour, but it's still stressful.
So
Yeah,
she's
so
already
calm.
losing her grip. I would not keep walking. I would say we're going to turn around and go back home. I would not continue to walk these two dogs together. I would walk them one at a time and have a different piece of equipment on them, a different type of harness. If I had to, I would work in a head halter and work our way away from the head halter. If you need to get them out for a walk, I would say use a head halter if you absolutely need to take them out for a walk, because they are going to need to get that energy out somehow. But, by using the pressure and release game, you're teaching them mentally, you're teaching them to you're giving them mental stimulation by teaching them to give into pressure, and they're still going to need an outlet somehow.
Right, this is an out-of-control situation where two dogs are taking a lady for a drag. You look like the water skiers. I know. There we go. Oh, we're off.
So his leash is too long. He really doesn't have a whole lot of control, and that dog has a lot of leverage over him. So that dog really wanted to pull if she weren't there. That dog could easily pull him down.
Whoa, that's enough.
On his last visit, Graham taught Alana how to bring her dastardly duo into line.
Well done.
Graham's
So I don't
class
agree with
sees
that.
she's
He
managed-
says that he's pushing them off balance. I don't agree with that kind of method. Let's see how they do on their walks.
So
Yeah.
that you can do it.
I'm nervous because I don't really know how to manage both of the dogs, so excited and nervous at the same time.
Graham starts with a tip which could drastically reduce Teddy and Fudge's pulling power.
Come on, come on.
By ditching the harnesses Alana's been using to walk them.
Harnesses can be useful for some dogs, but I think in your case, it's part of the problem because, in effect, it just harnesses the power. So they can kind of lean forward, breathe very nicely. Thank you much. Thank you very much, and off we go. But you will have a lot more control with a collar. We move from...
So
a
I don't
harness to
think you're going to have... I understand where he's coming from with the collar, and that, yes, I might use a collar on these guys, but they're going to pull just as hard, and they're going to, it can affect their trachea and their esophagus if they pull that much harder. So you're going to have a little more power, but still it's not about necessarily the tool, but, because the dog is going to learn to pull in a head halter as well, in a prong collar. The dog can learn to pull on a choke chain. No matter what you use, the dog will learn to pull in it if they pull this hard. You need to teach the dog to give into pressure, or you need to teach the dog an alternate behavior, which is not pulling. That staying by a human side is actually more rewarding than pulling instead.
collar because it gave us a bit more control and the dog's less ability to pull.
So his solution is a collar with the dogs in this video. In this video, we have a dog that resource guards. Nothing gets between Luna and her food. So in this clip we have
continue. The family may have no choice but to part ways with their beloved dog. But Graham has a plan to take the danger.
So
out
I
of
wouldn't be
dinner
touching the
time.
dog. I wouldn't be picking up their food. Her hackles are raised. She hasn't really bitten him, so she doesn't really mean to cause damage. You know, it could happen eventually, you know, which is what we don't want to happen. But let's see how he handles the situation. And then, and the owner thinks that he needs to be pack leader and all this and that. And that's probably what caused this problem in the first place. So you mess up your dog and then you rehome them. The dog is still going to have the issue. The least you can do is at least work through the issue yourself if you're the one who created this. You know, he may not have created it. That, you know, some dogs are just you know, develop this over time. But we're going to see how Graham...
Make feeding Luna conflict-free.
Luna thinks when people approach, we're going to take food away. But if we put an empty bowl on the floor and then approached her with a little bit of food in our hand to drop it in, and did that repeatedly, she's going to begin to realise that approaching a bowl is a good thing. We're adding food, we're never taking it away.
That's good.
Well, the proof is in the pudding.
Do you want to get a couple of little bits of her kibble and put it in a bowl? That's it.
To build trust, Steve will keep the food with him.
There you go. Step away.
Good. Step away. She comes over with a lip lick. She's a little bit nervous.
Good. Right. Bit more. That's it. That's all you need.
And Luna quickly realises he's not a threat.
Couple more.
Good. So when she gives him eye contact, or she looks to him, that's when he gives her a little bit
I
more.
think we're seeing a
He
change
steps
already.
away from her bowl, so he's taking pressure away from her. You know, he's not adding pressure by stepping up to her, picking up the bowl, trying to pet her. All of that is making things worse. So this is what I would do.
Ready?
Yeah, her facial expression is just.
She
completely
sits,
changed,
very
a bit
nice.
happier.
So what you could do is feed the dog by hand. You can, you know, sit by the bowl and slowly, you know, over time, you know, you can stand by the bowl at a distance and slowly get closer and closer to the bowl and do the same process as they're doing. You know, when your dog is just sitting there chewing on it, depending on how trusting you are of your dog, you can sit there while they're eating their food. If they're comfortable with you, if they start growling, then don't do that. Don't go sitting next to their bowl. But my goal is to be able to handle my dog and get to that point. That doesn't mean I'm going to get there overnight or in a week or two. That's over the lifetime of the dog's life that I am able to get to that point. If I haven't raised the dog and I have a dog who has developed food resource guarding, which is what this is, they are protecting a resource, or in this case, the food is the resource. So that's what resource guarding means, is they are protecting something that they find valuable. The dog thinks that their you know, food is going away, and that's why they feel the need to protect it, which the owner has made that happen before, where he's, you know, either put too much pressure on the dog, overstimulated the dog by petting them while they're in protective mode, and they don't like that. Petting them can make them nervous. They think that you're trying to trick them. He has picked up the food before. He's shoved her away from the food before. So instead of doing all that, he's just coming over, empty bowl. There's nothing to protect. Some dogs will protect their bowl. So I would toss a treat away for them to move away from their bowl and teach them that when you move away from the bowl, good things happen. As well as when you move away from your bowl, I put food in and then I leave you alone and then you come and get your food. I wouldn't be petting a dog that resource guards while they're eating their food. I wouldn't be messing with them. I might even feed them in a crate. I would teach them to accept the crate and then feed them inside their crate to make sure that they are comfortable and in a safe environment.
It's a healthy start, but Graham wants to mix things up.
Let's get rid of the mug, because the mug kind of says, I've definitely got some food here. Yeah. What I want to
Well, what's wrong with that, though?
He might have food in his hand when it goes to the bowl. It might not, but it's still okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would toss the food away.
Hey,
Yeah.
No.
But
No,
with
I
Luna
wouldn't be
about
saying no. I wouldn't do any of that. I would toss the piece of food away. She moves away. Then I go over and touch the bowl, the empty bowl with no food in my hands. I would toss the treat away or a piece of kibble away. She moves away from the bowl. I go touch the bowl. I stand up. I walk away. When we repeat that process, so that way I could desensitize her to me touching her empty bowl. She feels threatened now, you know, because she doesn't associate him with something good. I want her to associate me with something good. I don't care if I have a mug. So that's what I would do. I would teach her, I would desensitize her to me touching the bowl. The reason why I want her a distance away is so she doesn't feel the need that she needs to protect it. She doesn't feel that she has that she's close enough to that resource that she can protect it. So toss the treat away, go touch the bowl, walk away, come back, reset. Then next time I would toss, after a couple of repetitions, next session or a couple sessions later, I would toss the treat away. She moves away. I go over and put a treat or put a piece of food in her bowl, and then I walk away. And then over time, when she's associated me as something good with her bowl, then I can go over just like this with a hand, put some food in the bowl, and move away. That's going to take time. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of and by that, I mean, you may think that you're at one stage and you're not. You're at another stage. You may think that you're closer to this stage where you can just put food in her bowl without her growling, and she growls. If she growls, then I would go back a step, and I would make sure that I'm really reinforcing her for giving me space around her bowl.
To turn,
Hold your ground.
has Graham added too much heat in the kitchen?
So he is holding eye contact with this dog. That's one thing that I would absolutely tell him not to do. I would tell him to back up. I don't care. I'm not here to hold my ground. I'm not here to win a battle with the dog. All of that is old school nonsense. If a dog is growling at me, I will back up. I will reset them. I will toss the treat away from the bowl, then go back and practice that again. Where me just I'll toss a treat to the dog as I approach them. Really, I think I would toss a treat away from the bowl and away from the resource, as I approach it, because I want the dog to know to give me space. I want that dog to give me space, and I want to feel comfortable being able to approach that bowl, and the dog knows to give me space. But he does not need to be holding eye contact with this dog.
That's it. Just wait. And then wait for her to back off. Good girl.
But she's not backing off.
Right, if you put some food in the bowl now, look, and step away. Girl. Brilliant.
See, he stayed there too long. He should have just put the hand down and then backed away. That could have been an instant where she could have bitten him if she wanted to. Her head was too close to the bowl. That's too close for my comfort. Even if it's my own dog. Hopefully my own dog wouldn't be resource guarding, because I would have raised them to trust me better than that. But even if, say it does happen, or say I have a client that has resource guarding, I'm certainly sure as hell not going to be putting my hand near that head when that's in that bowl like that. That's why I like to toss a treat away, so that dog keeps their head away from that bowl, their teeth away from my hand. Then I put food in their bowl, and they come back. And I'm not trying to do it all sneaky like. I want it to be bing, bang, boom. Steps 1, 2, 3, ABC. Just over and over and over again, so it's predictable. I toss the treat away, or I toss a piece of food away. They go get it. I go over. It gives me plenty of time to go put food in the bowl. If they start coming quicker, then I'm just going to stand up and step away. Whether I'm able to put a piece of food in the bowl or not, they at least associate me coming towards the bowl as something good, or they associate moving away from the bowl as something good.
Good girl.
So, very different approach. You're not backing off.
Yeah.
You're not shouting at her, you're not taking the ball away, but you are just standing your ground and going, really?
Yeah.
With Luna
I don't know that that's going to be
understanding not a
helpful,
morsel
in my
will be
opinion.
withdrawn, Graham's avoided a food fight. Time to turn things up a notch.
Let's put a reasonable amount of food down in the bowl.
Yeah.
So she's noshing away at it, right? And then I want you to leave your hand lingering for a second or two.
I wouldn't do that with food in the bowl.
Hold on, that's it, hold on.
No, that's not,
And walk away.
way too much pressure. But the bowl was empty, and now he has the mug back in his hand again.
And she's just laid down.
What's wrong with just leaving a dog alone to eat? If you have a resource guarder, why do you need to have your hand there in their face? I don't want someone's hand in my face while I'm trying to eat. What's wrong with just being able to feed them and leave them the heck alone? They're not trying to bite you when you approach their bowl. You teach your kids to stay away from the dog. Put your dog in a crate, put your dog in a pen, have your dog eat in the garage, somewhere where they're safe, in a closet, in a bathroom, and again, in the crate. Somewhere where the dog can just reasonably eat peacefully, and then you pick up the bowl. So that way that it's not a resource where the dog learns, that people just avoid the dog's bowl until you've taught the dog that the bowl is, someone approaching the bowl is a good thing. And I wouldn't expect my dog to be okay with like every, stranger approaching my dog's bowl. I want my dog to associate that I'm okay to touch their bowl. that you know, I don't expect them to be okay with strangers, or I mean, kids messing with their bowl a whole bunch, you know. So that's why I would pick up their bowl until it's dinner time. But that can also lead to frustration with your dog, thinking, oh, my food's going away. But I wouldn't pick up the bowl with food in it. So we're going to look at the next one. So here we have the before, and then we're going to look at how he works with this dog, which I don't agree with either.
No.
Oh,
No.
So she just keeps saying no. She has a front clip harness on this dog. She's just yanking him back over and over and over again. This dog is clearly over threshold. She's not ready for being out on paths, on trails.
Stop it.
morning.
Morning.
So this is the
Yeah,
before.
you too, darling.
And this is Yankee.
He's a lovely looking lad. Was he bred in Manchester?
No, he's a rescue dog.
Close to another dog.
Okay, so here we have him. This is where he's going to be working with the dog. He puts a muzzle on him,
Close to another dog.
and he decides
However,
to just let him
I don't-
go meet other dogs, which I don't have a problem with that. But it's the way he does it that I have a
Silly
problem
about
with
this.
it.
Safety first. I'm going to pop
So
a
he
muzzle on.
scruffs him,
Good boy.
shoves a muzzle on him.
Good
Probably the
boy,
first time
Yankee.
he's ever had a muzzle on, but he accepts it very well. He's now no longer using the harness. He's using the collar.
Come here then. No.
Lets him pull,
There we go. Come on.
pull, and then watch how he approaches these dogs.
That's hello.
Just pulls over, gets right in the dog's face immediately.
Yankee, behave.
Hey. Hey.
This guy can barely hold him back.
Yankee.
He's way too
Normally,
excited.
Leslie would go out of her way to hold Yankee back.
Good boy.
And then we don't know how
Graham
long he's been
staying
standing
calm
here.
and giving Yankee time to settle down. He's soon comfortable, only feet away from a fellow
Good, he lays down
four-legger.
good. That would be a moment I would reward.
Boy.
What I would be doing is I would start this process, but I would start it a lot further away. They have plenty of open fields that you can use, and I'm sure there's plenty of dogs that you can practice with, and I'm sure this guy has my camera's close to dying, so if it dies, then it dies, but just giving you a heads up now. But I'm sure he has a plethora of dogs that he can use, and I think he does use them in other cases, but here he's saying that the dog is not aggressive, which I agree. I don't think the dog is aggressive. But what I would have done to get him used to this is, so where do they do it? Right here. So here they start practicing with all these other dogs here.
A little bit further over there, please.
And their four-legged pals for a doggy get-together.
Okay, let's take a few steps.
So here he is with his muzzle on just in case.
Starting from a distance,
Still
Graham
pulling.
wants Leslie to do
I would
something
work on the pulling before I start working on the reactivity with other dogs.
she's been avoiding for years.
Good.
Okay, Yankee.
Approach other dogs.
Off we go again. Bit nearer.
Good boy.
Can she resist
Still pulling.
the urge to cut and run?
Right here, look, that'll do.
Still
for now.
pulling.
Just give him a chance.
Instead of yanking
He's
him.
been a bit pulley. So let's just.
So
wind-
he's too close for my comfort. I would have, if he's pulling and stuff like that, he's too close and he's too excited. He's too over threshold, in my opinion. I think that I would have him a little bit further away until he can calmly sit there, also work on his loose leash walking skills. As you saw earlier in the video, how I do that and how I taught Adonis that. I would work on that, inside the home, out near the home. I'm not going to go out of my way to go on these little paths and whatnot when my dog is not ready for that. Then I would work on him, find a dog or go to a park or somewhere where there's dogs, and I would, work at the end of this field until my dog is able to sit there calmly on his own, and I can mark and reward that, and then I would slowly get closer and closer and closer. This guy only has like a day or a couple of hours to work with these people, so he's showing them something really quick, but, you don't get quick results with that, so...
This stone. No. That's
So he's
it, well
pulling. I would have backed up.
By staying put
Tobacco.
and using a familiar command.
So the dog is bilingual. I think he came from Puerto Rico or something, or she might have said, somewhere else. But I think he speaks Spanish as well, or something else. But he's bilingual, so she gives him a cue or a command in a different language.
settles.
Well done.
The fact
You
that he
stood
can
your
lay down, this is where I would start. I mean, I want him to be able to lay down on his own without me having to tell him to do so, because that tells me he's comfortable. It's good that he's listening to her. He's a German Shepherd, though. He's going to listen to you. You know, they're soft dogs. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot. You can scream and shout at them and they'll cower, you know, and he'll lay down pretty quick because, you know, he's a German Shepherd. He's made to please humans, you know, this and that. But, you know, with the Shiba, he'd say, screw you. You know, Adonis would say, screw you. Until I'm ready to lay down, I'm not going to lay down unless there's something in it better for me. But what I mean by that is that if Adonis were not comfortable, or if he were staring at these dogs the way this dog is, I'm not going to expect him to lay down. You know, it's good that he lays down, but I would rather him be sitting here or standing there comfortably, not staring at the dogs. And I'd rather have him be giving me eye contact than staring at the other dogs.
And you did nothing. You didn't run away. And then he's in this place where he's like, what do I do? And then he hears you go, abajo.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, lie down. OK, cool, I'll do that then.
Yeah.
Let's make some more steps forward then.
Yanks.
Come on, young
So this
man.
is where I would
Off we go.
stay
Just
at
as
this
Yankee
distance.
starts to get agitated,
Tobacco.
Leslie calms him down.
So giving him cues that he knows. We got a little bit of whale eyes going on here. You can just barely see it here. Giving him known cues that he can obey is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it tells me that the dog's brain is in the right place, that he's certainly not reactive. You know, he's excitable, but he's still able to listen to you. But at the same time, I would rather him again, I would still like him to offer this behavior on his own, and give me more eye contact like he's doing here. So I think here he's okay. But they're still working very, very quickly. And again, I understand that this guy has only so much time to work with these people. And he wants to have a good before and after for the show. So he wants to have, that's why I don't really necessarily like shows like this, because they don't show you a real, you know, the real amount of time that it takes to train these kind of behaviors, you know, in real time.
Good boy.
People are
Good
going to expect
boy.
like, oh, okay,
Did
it's
you
just going to
notice
be
what he
5
just
minutes and
did
then I'm
there?
done.
He looked at you.
Oh, did he?
So what he's
And the
starting
fact
to
that
do
she didn't
now
notice
is
that.
He's looking at you for kind of reassurance,
Right.
right? That's when you smile and go, yeah, good boy. Now we're getting it clear, are we?
Yankee may be starting to listen to Leslie, but will he still be all ears as they edge closer?
Let's go again then.
Come on, Yankee.
That's it. Yep, that'll do.
And it helps that the other dogs are stationary and not, you know, they all happen to have their backs to this dog. They're not, you know, trying to fight at him or get to him, or they're not adding to his energy. You know, they're not adding to the overstimulation that he's already feeling.
Hold on.
Just meters away, Yankee's anxieties surface.
I bet everything about you is screaming run away right now, isn't it?
Just
Hold
just
your
a
ground.
tad.
So instead of
Now
yanking
tell
and jerking on him, I would
Yankee?
just walk backwards.
Ah,
I would walk him backwards.
Tobacco. Yankee.
Holding her nerve, Leslie learns if at first you don't succeed,
Yankee. Tobacco.
try again.
So she's lucky that he
boy.
laid down. He's still not paying any attention to her. I would much rather the dog be paying more attention to me than the other dog. That's the goal. That's why I like to work at a distance and slowly get my way closer to these other dogs. Do we have to meet nose to nose? No, absolutely not. I just want them to learn to be able to walk. You know, there's a lot that goes into this training here than what you see here. There's a lot more that goes into it that I don't even think to explain. My goal is to be able to, at a distance, wherever the dog is under threshold, I want to completely be able to walk them back and forth, perpendicular, parallel to the other dog, diagonally, you know, horizontally, up and down, whatever, you know, up in the sky, down on the ground. I want to be able to ask them to sit and down and have them offer those behaviors. After I ask them once, I want them to be able to offer those behaviors on their own. That's when I know the dog is ready to move on to the next step. You know, I don't want to have to hold my dog back and be stationary, because that's all he's teaching her to do is just be stationary. You know, when she's not able to actually walk her dog. So I would rather be working at a distance further away, but get more progress done that way by being able to walk my dog back and forth, and be able to do circles and ask for sits and downs and shake and roll over and all this other stuff. I'd rather be able to do that and be be motionary than stationary and just holding my dog back. And then, okay, that's the progress that we've made. Even though we're 2 meters away from this other dog, we're doing is just standing still. So that's just my difference that I would do. My camera's about to die, so I'm going to end this video here. Apparently she gets, close enough to the other dogs. This is, that's about as close as she's going to get with the other dogs. But she's still probably going to have to just go on the trails and tell her dog to lay down. That's what my guess would be, is the end result of what this training does. So let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of this guy here, Graham, I think is his name. Go say hi to your little critters. Say hi to for me. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate it. Until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.